Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Dose. I have a quick and easy one for you today. It's one we haven't covered in a long time. We did the dose, I think I did this in an audio some time ago, but I've never done it in a video. And I wanted to share this one with you because I believe that this is absolutely the foundation of setting your mind in the right direction when it comes to achieving your goals and going after the things you want to go after. You know, we hear all the time that you need to write down your goals and you need to expect great things, and that you need to have a positive mental attitude. But there's a science behind why that works. And when you begin to understand why it works, it starts to make a lot more sense, and then you'll be more likely to apply it. You follow that? So a lot of times, if we don't understand something, we don't understand how it works, it's hard to believe that it does, and therefore we won't put any energy behind it. But what I want to talk to you about tonight is the creative process. The creative process of generating results in your life, because ultimately that's what we want, right? So if you want improved financial situation, if you want your business to grow, if you want a better family life, a better marriage, better relationships, if you want to have better spirituality, if you want to have better health and wellness, it's the results we're after, right? It's not necessarily the workout we want, but it's the health and vitality we want. It's not necessarily the calm, soothing conversations we want, but it's the great relationship that results from that we want. So it's the results that we're after. So let's take that backwards. Let's figure out, how do we get results? Results are the function of actions. See, the actions that you take generate your results. Well, what determines your actions? And I would argue that your actions are determined by your expectations, what you expect. Well, what creates your expectations? And the answer is your beliefs. What you believe creates your expectations. And well, then where do your beliefs come from? Well, your beliefs come from your values. What do you value? And then, how are values derived? Values are derived from what you put into your mind. Now, this is absolutely critical if you can get this. See, personal development gurus are always telling you, you got to be into personal development. You always got to be studying. You always got to be learning. You always got to be listening. I've been cynical in the past and thought, yeah, of course they want you to always be learning and listening because that's how they make their living. They want you to buy their tapes and their books. But the reality is this, and I'll give you a practical example. If all you do is watch the news, what's on the news these days? Nothing but bad news, right? Bad news sells. Good news doesn't sell. Nothing ever makes the news. Nothing ever makes the news if it's good, right? Nobody ever says so-and-so won $1 million. Nobody ever goes, you'll hear people all the time say if somebody, has a windfall, they go, oh, that's too good to be true. But you'll never hear, Bus and Nuns falls off a cliff. Nobody ever goes, oh, that's too horrible to be true, right? Nobody ever says that. Why is that? Because we're so accustomed to seeing the bad and never seeing the good. The news bombards you all day long with negative and horrible, and this person got killed, and these people got, whatever. And I mean, it's just, if you watch the news, it's just terrible. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch the news, you shouldn't know what's going on in the world, but here's what I'll say. If you bury yourself in the news all day long, if all you ever did was watch the news, read the paper, watch Fox News or CNN all day long, then here's what would happen. That's what you're putting into your mind, right? So we're going to go backwards from input to results. We went backwards from results and figured out how results are derived. Now I'm going to take you back through the process again. So if all you did was input all day long that the world is a hostile place, right? And that, people are out to get you, and that bad things are always happening, and houses are always getting broken into, and people are always getting killed and murdered and assaulted and everything else, then here's what would happen. You would begin to value safety, right, over spontaneity. You would begin to value security over freedom. See, that's how your inputs create your values. Now, your values are going to drive your beliefs. See, if you value safety over freedom, for example, then your belief is that the world is a hostile place and it's always out to get you. Now, that's your belief. If your belief is that the world is a hostile place and it's always out to get you, then your expectation is that something bad is always going to happen to you. If your expectation is that something bad is always going to happen to you, then the actions you take will be just simply to avoid danger or avoid risk or avoid any kind of bad situation. You'll always play it safe. You'll never get outside of your comfort zone. You'll never live outside the box. And thus your results will always be mediocre because you never got outside the normal. You never took a chance. You never took a risk. Can you see that? How your inputs shape your actions and ultimately your results. I used to use in trainings all the time the example of, if you're a person that believes that you always get tickets, okay? So let's go back to inputs, right? If you're always inputting your mind with stories of people getting tickets and getting, caught in speed traps and all of this, then you begin to value, not getting a ticket. You begin to value driving at the speed limit or below because it's going to keep you away from getting tickets. And that drives your beliefs. Your belief is that if you speed, you'll get a ticket. You'll always get a ticket, right? And if your belief is that you always get tickets, then what will happen is if you get pulled over, your expectation is that that officer is going to write you a ticket. Well, if your expectation is that the officer is going to write you a ticket, then what will your actions be like when the officer pulls you over? Are you going to be friendly and kind and, "Hi, officer, how you doing? Oh, I'm speeding. I was so sorry. Gosh, my fault. I won't do it again. I promise," right? No, when the officer pulls you over, you're going to be like, "Yep, here we go. Go ahead and write it up, Johnny Law. Let's have it. I'm in a hurry. Let's go. I already know you're going to give me a ticket, so you might as well give it to me." Well, how do you think the police officer is going to respond? He's going to write you a ticket, right? And thus you will have gotten exactly what you expected, okay? On the other hand, if you had a belief that you never got tickets, that you were the kind of person that always got a warning or always got off with a warning, then if that was your belief, then your expectation would be when you got pulled over that you were just going to get a warning or he was just going to tell you to slow it down and let you go. And if that's true, then how would your actions differ? Police officer comes up and says, "Do you know how fast you're going?" You go, "Yes, sir, officer, I'm sorry. I was speeding. I was exceeding the speed limit. You got me. I'm very sorry. It won't happen again. I apologize. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing, and I promise that it won't happen again." And what do you think the police officer is going to do? You're saying yes, sir, no, sir, being respectful, admitting what you've done, promising you won't do it. He's probably going to let you off with a warning, and you'll drive away going, "See, I never get tickets." Isn't that fantastic? We've heard the phrase used, self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what expectation is. Expectation is your own self-fulfilling prophecy. So if your results are driven by your actions, and your actions are a function of your expectations, and your expectations are purely derived from your beliefs, and if your beliefs are a function of your values, and your values are due to what you put into your mind, then wouldn't it make sense that you would want to guard very carefully what you put into your mind? That you would want to consciously put things in that would create the beliefs and the expectations that would drive the correct actions and give you the best results at the end of the day. And if you think expectations are not powerful, look at this example, right? If you believe that beliefs, right, are not as powerful as I say they are, let's take a look at this example. What if I asked you if I told you I would give you $1 million if you would put your tennis shoes on and run 2 laps around the block? What would you do? Most of us would grab our shoes, strap them on, and take off, right? No problem. I mean, we off running. Why would we do that? Because we know we can run 2 laps around the block. That's not a big deal. Everybody believes that they can run 2 laps around the block, especially if it's for $1 million. But what if I told you that I would give you $1 million if you would run from one end of the state of Texas to the other without stopping? Would you even try? Would you even put your shoes on? No. Most of us would just laugh and go, "Yeah, right." You wouldn't even attempt it. Why? Because you don't believe that it's possible. So see, you must believe that your goals are possible. You must believe your goals are possible so that you will expect positive results, so that you will take the actions necessary to get the results you need. And how do you create belief inside of yourself? How do you generate that belief? The answer is more of this. More of the good stuff coming in, more of the positive reinforcements coming in, more of positive self-talk, more of reading stories of people that have done it before you, more of putting the good stuff in will create the beliefs, will create the values that will drive the expectations that will make you take the actions you need to get the results you want from your goals. So guys, I implore you, begin putting the good stuff in. Turn off the news and turn on a good book. Turn off the gossip at work and turn on some praise and worship. Do something that puts positive into the mind so that you can change the output you get from the body. And that's the dose. So take that information and make it a great day.